Biden delivered a speech to the select few congressional sycophants and media members who would sit there. He started telling whoppers right out of the gate.
Conclusion, as we gather here tonight, the image of a violent mob assaulting this Capitol, desecrating our democracy, remain vivid in all our minds. Lives were put at risk, many of your lives.
Now, he's talking about the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, which was unarmed, actually.
Lives were lost. Extraordinary courage was summoned. The insurrection was an existential crisis.
No, not really. There was no threat to the existence of the country.
Test of whether our democracy could survive, and it did.
He also said it was the worst incursion since the Civil War. I think that the survivors of 9/11 and Pearl Harbor would disagree with that. Not sure about it. He also went on to say a minor fringe movement that hasn't grown in decades is our biggest threat.
The threat has evolved way beyond Afghanistan. Those of you in the intelligence committees, the foreign relations committee, defense committees, you know well, we have to remain vigilant against the threats to the United States wherever they come from. Al-Qaeda and ISIS are in Yemen, Syria, Somalia.
Yeah, they were also in Saudi Arabia, and they sent 11 hijackers to cause 9/11.
Places in Africa, in the Middle East, and beyond.
Yeah. So what's the real threat there, President Biden?
We won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today.
Is it Trump supporters?
White supremacy is terrorism.
No, actually, white supremacy is still a fringe movement, has been since Jim Crow, which was a Democrat policy, by the way. Yeah, and so is slavery. He repeated his claim that no constitutional amendment is absolute.
Buy a gun, but shouldn't be able to buy a gun. These kinds of reasonable reforms.
Some people shouldn't be able to buy guns, like your son Hunter, who did illegally, even though he did cocaine. And
reforms have overwhelming support from the American people, including many gun owners. The country supports reform.
No, actually, the support for gun control has gone down since 2018.
And Congress should act. This shouldn't be.
Which means you're just doing this out of spite for the Second Amendment.
A red or blue issue. And no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
So then we could change the 13th Amendment and enslave some people then, I guess, or maybe like take away some women's suffrages. I don't think that my wife wants to give up her right to vote. In an almost comical moment, Joe Biden, a 50-year swamp dweller in Washington, D.C., attempted to tell us that we all are the government. This is a good one.
We the people. Well, it's time to remember that we the people are the government.
Looking at you three right there, you are so not we the people.
You and I, not some force in a distant capital.
Like Washington, D.C., that the Capitol is surrounded by troops and razor ribbon.
Not some powerful force that we have no control over.
I'm actually just putting in razor ribbon around my house because I'm one of we the people.
It's us. It's we the people.
I so don't want to be one of the people if he is one of we the people. And of course, he continued to push vaccinations.
90% of Americans now live within 5 miles of a vaccination site. Everyone over the age of 16, everyone is now eligible to get vaccinated right now, right away. Go get vaccinated, America. Go and get the vaccination. They're available.
I haven't had shots pushed on me this hard since I went to a frat party. And with any Biden address, things got very stumbly and mumbly.
With regard to Russia, I know it concerns some of you, but I made very clear to Putin that we're not going to seek escalation.
And I'm not going to ride an escalator, I guess.
Clear to Putin that we're not going to seek escalation.
And then, of course, there was this.
We have to do more than just build back better. We have to build back better. We have to compete.
And the build what? In the what? In the do the what?
Build back better. We have to build back better.
And if you're an intern on Capitol Hill, don't back up better, because that's a completely different thing. Republican Tim Scott responded much to the consternation of MSNBC and the left that America is, in fact, not racist.
Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture.
1619 Project, anyone?
People are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress.
Yeah, it's not 1968, and it's certainly not 1863.
At all. by doubling down on the divisions we've worked so hard to heal.
Doubling down on the divisions. That's what Democrats do. The 4 Ds.
You know this stuff is wrong. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country. It's backwards to fight discrimination with different types of discrimination. And it's wrong to try to
Yeah, but it's okay if it's against whitey.
use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present.
Well, that's the Democrat way of life right now in 2021. Now, of course, he's being called an Uncle Tim on social media. Yeah. That's pretty racist, actually. Somebody better tell the tens of thousands of black and brown people who are trying to come to the United States that it's really, really racist. Joe Biden took to the podium this week earlier to talk about easing mask restrictions outside, and he wore a mask outside while walking to the podium by himself.
As you can see, he's now left the north borders are now walking with a mask on.
Even the reporters are kind of mumbling like, you know, he's got a mask on. And what's he going to talk about today? Oh, not wearing masks outside. Okay. And then, of course, he took the mask off when he got close to a bunch of reporters.
If you're fully vaccinated and you're outdoors, you need, and not in a big crowd, you no longer need
And standing on your head.
to wear a mask.
And holding hands.
I want to be absolutely clear.
And playing Red Rover, Red Rover.
If you're in a crowd, like a stadium
Other than that, you won't have to worry about a mask.
or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. He then said if you're really good and do everything the government says, you can have a hot dog with your family on July 4th.
Next week, I'll be laying out the path ahead to continue our fight against COVID-19 to get us to July 4th.
The hot dog does not have to be vaccinated to eat it, though.
This is our target date to get
Just
life
want to clear things up.
in America closer to normal and begin to celebrate our independence from the virus.
And what presser would be complete without a nonsensical reply to a sensible question?
One at a time.
If the risk is so low outdoors, why doesn't this new guidance apply to everybody?
Because the science indicates that the most certain way to make sure it doesn't spread if both people have been vaccinated, the people you're with, and you're outside.
And they're standing outside playing Red Rover on their heads.
And you chose to wear a mask, sir. You chose to wear a mask. You chose to wear a mask as you walked out here. What message were you sending by wearing a mask outside alone?
That somebody told me to wear the mask, and I really wasn't even aware that I had it on.
By watching me take it off and not put it back on until I get inside.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.